hospitals across the country, they are on standby for the first batches of the COVID vaccine as soon as the FDA gives the green light.
Cargo planes stationed in key locations right now across the state, ready to go for transport. United Airlines has had those planes in position for 2 weeks. Joining us this morning is Chris Busch. He's the managing director of cargo for United Airlines. Thank you for joining us on this very important morning to discuss this.
Thank you.
So let's begin with this. We had the CDC director on, then I spoke to the FDA. You are the next in the chain about getting this out. How many cargo planes are in position right now, and where are they once you get that emergency approval? If it does happen tomorrow, how quickly can they be sent out?
Yeah, well, this process for us really started at the beginning of the year when COVID really first hit in March. We started utilizing our passenger aircraft to fly cargo-only missions. We've done nearly 8,500 cargo-only flights of passenger flights. So right now, in theory, all of our aircraft, wide-body aircraft, could be used. The key part of this is the packaging requirements from the pharmaceutical companies. What temperature range are we going to need to be able to keep these vaccines stored at during transportation? So we have airplanes internationally based here in the U.S. that are ready to do what we can to support this mission.
So how does that work, Chris? Is it a self-contained package where it's already packed at that particular temperature, or do you have to have some kind of retrofit in your planes to make sure that it doesn't go above that temperature and possibly, make the vaccine not as effective?
Yeah, it comes prepared by the pharmaceutical company and our freight forwarder, ready for carriage on the airplanes. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we're able to safely carry. The image that we're seeing right here is a temperature-controlled unit, which that unit right there, that helps keep the temperature range consistent for whatever's inside of that container. So our mission is to make sure we have the people, processes in place to make sure that we're keeping everything at the desired temperature. We're moving as quickly as possible, moving it from the aircraft. You're seeing aircraft unloading right now,
right.
Moving it from being unloaded from the aircraft through the facility, right to the waiting truck to then be taken on to its final destination.
Speed is certainly going to be key here. United can carry 1 million doses on a single flight, which means you can vaccinate 500,000 people. How many planes are dedicated to the endeavor, and who is actually telling you where to ship them to?
So we take a lot of our direction from our freight forwarder community as well as the pharmaceutical community. We work together to determine where we need to ship them. We roughly have, there's 9 or so 777-200 aircraft that we've dedicated just for cargo missions. Now, United Airlines has a lot more wide bodies than that, so there are more aircraft that we can use to do this, but we've dedicated roughly 9 aircraft that are specifically for cargo use. And with that, we've had to work through different approvals with the FAA as well as our internal teams in terms of how much dry ice can be carried on the aircraft. And that's one key element, depending on which vaccine it is, that can determine how many doses of vaccine can be carried, is those dry ice limitations.
Yeah, because Moderna doesn't have as strict of a temperature limit as the Pfizer product does. But when you said you have 9 aircraft dedicated, so those 9 aircraft only carrying vaccine, or are you going to have vaccine in with other cargo on some of these planes?
On these flights, we would most likely see dedicated to the vaccines. We've been using them throughout the summer for cargo-only missions. But as we said earlier, we want to be prepared to support in any way that we possibly can. So these aircraft are prepared. If we have a need, if one of our freight forwarders, pharmaceutical companies comes to us, we will be able to quickly deploy one of these aircraft.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, you're vital to this mission. All eyes really on the vaccine and where it will go. So my question will be, once the emergency approval does take place, if it, say, happens tomorrow, I'm not sure I heard a clear answer on this, how soon, when is the first flight taking off for those vaccines? And this may sound like a silly question. Do the planes need to be guarded? I mean, the vaccine is going to be something that's highly sought.
Yes. Again, from our standpoint, if we needed to fly vaccines tomorrow, we could. We're not completely in control of when we receive them, but if we needed to ship vaccines tomorrow, we could. And then in terms of security, yes, of course. Anything that's high profile like this, there would be additional security, whether it's from the pharmaceutical company, the government, whoever it may be. But yes, there would be additional security surrounding these vaccines.
Have you been told how long to continue to have these flights ready and available for the vaccine, to give us somewhat of an indication of how much more we're going to see when it comes to transporting vaccines to the people who need it?
we're prepared to do this really at somewhat of an endless timeline. If you think about it today, United Airlines is part of moving the standard flu vaccine. Pharmaceutical shipment is not a new thing for the airline. We've been moving the flu vaccine for many, many years. So I really feel that this COVID vaccine is probably something we're going to see for many, many years to come.
The new normal.
So I don't think we see a specific end to it, but we are prepared for tomorrow as well as a year from now to be carrying these vaccines.
When you have been preparing for this, you had that COVID readiness, logistical teamwork, and all year for this big moment in time. Chris, we thank you for your time and your voice this morning and helping kind of clarify some of these things about distribution. It's going to be a busy, busy weeks and months ahead.
Indeed. And it's important to your bottom line, I'm sure, too, as the airline industry has suffered greatly lately. Chris, so much. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.